Hi dear all, in the previous session we completed the assumption in regressions, and now we'll see the concept of logistic and as well as overfitting problem. So what do you mean by overfitting? So generally while constructing any model, the problem is see, if the model is keep on learning the same kind of the data. Suppose consider one university, and I am taking the consent of the students related to a particular policy newly released by vice chancellor of that university. I am taking only south students, for example. So their expectations and their habits and all are distinct when compared with the north students. So in that particular case, only if I am placing the training data with south students, and if I am placing the test data with north student, then there is a uh, not uniform distribution. Automatically our model will fails to properly predict the items. In simple terminology, at the training phase you may get 96 or 97, even 98 percentage of the accuracy, but at the moment you give the testing, okay, so if you observe the test data given to the algorithm, it may reduce it to 80 or even 75. So the model is performing best at the training level, but it could not give the proper performance at the testing level, which is nothing but the overfitting. The problem is with respect to rather than learning, it is by hearting. So that is the main problem with the overfitting. But how do you handle this overfitting problem? You can add more data, friends. Whatever the data you want to add, by adding more data you can avoid this particular overfitting situation. And second thing is the dimensional reduction. Unnecessary measures or unnecessary features which are all having, you can reduce those particular thing with the help of the dimensional reduction. And choose right model. So we are having many models like decision trees, random forest, regression analysis, naive bayes, okay, like that we're having. So processing of this particular data with the right model is always giving best performance, okay. And hyperparameters, every time for every algorithm we are having certain tuning of the hyperparameters. So you can make use of these particular hyperparameter tuning related to the implementation of the algorithm. And regularization, what do you mean by regularization is variable selection methods and forward backward selection and bidirection, like that we're having some kind of the regularization methods, okay, those things you can follow. And the main thing related to the regularization is to reduce the magnitude or make the variable coefficients close to zero, whatever the coefficients we are having, because based on the coefficients only the appropriate overfitting and as well as the erroneous situations may enter into the model construction. So we should be very careful about these particular coefficients. And coming to other regression models, at the starting point of this particular regression we talked about linear, multiple, logistic. Likewise, in addition to that, we are having this lasso, ridge and elastic net regression, which are alternatives or complementary to ordinary least squares and all these kind of the things, okay. So gradient descent is also one of the important aspect. We are going to see this gradient descent in the subsequent uh, classes, okay. And the lasso, ridge and elastic method starts with standard OLS or GD, ordinary least squares or gradient descent, and add a penalty form of model complexity. So this particular penalty helps us tuning the parameters, or penalization techniques are there which are very interesting. So just we'll have a separate discussion related to those things. The only difference between these methods is in the form of the penalty term. L1 term, L2 term, likewise we're having lasso, ridge and elastic, and based on the penalty term you can improve the efficiency of the model. And lasso regression uses L1 normal norm form, whereas your ridge uses L2, and at the same time elastic net uses both L1 and as well as the L2 forms. So this is how you can various models are there, and some other models are also there, but most frequently used things are these things, okay. And coming to the logistic regression, let me introduce what exactly the logistic regression and how we are making use of this particular logistic regression when compared with the other regression. So logistic regression technique is borrowed by machine learning from the field of statistics, and it is a go-to method for binary classification. Success or failure, yes or no kind of thing can be observed. And fundamentally, the logistic regression is a classification type, friends. So logistic regression or logit regression or logit model, all are same. It is a regression model where the dependent variable is categorical. Dependent means y variable. Y variable is we are predicting yes or no, success or failure, all these particular things with respect to the y value, the categorical form. And logistic regression measures the relationship between a categorical dependent variable and one or more independent variables by estimating the probabilities using a logistic function. So the difference between normal regression and logistic is normal regression works with values. But whereas if you are referencing the logistic regression, we are converting the values into the probabilities and we are implementing the logistic regression. So it is used to predict the binary outcome given a set of independent variables. How many independent variables are there, and based on those particular things, we are going to predict the binary outcome. And some of the important aspects. So logistic regression can be seen as a special case of generalized linear models and thus similar to the linear regression fundamentally. And below are the key differences. Predicted values are probabilities and therefore restricted to either 0 or 1 through the logistic distribution function. And there is a conditional distribution like probability of y equal to 0 for all x and probability of y equal to 1 for all x is a Bernoulli distribution rather than a Gaussian distribution. Okay, always this conditional distribution follows a Bernoulli distribution. Okay, and applications might be identification of the email as spam or no spam, online transaction, whether fraudulent or not fraudulent, and customer churn. Okay, whether the customer is retained or whether he is leaving the corresponding, suppose Airtel to some other company or some other company to Airtel, the customer churn, HR status, whether the person is going to join or not join, and credit scoring. Okay, so all these particular things related to the applications of the laws in all the models, you can observe the kind of yes or no kind of thing, and as well as the percentage of this uh, probabilities. And what is the advantage? Interpretation of the results is highly possible in case of the logistic, and outputs are well calibrated predicted probabilities. Okay, as a probability 90% of chances are there that this mail is spam. Okay, likewise you can calibrate the predicted probabilities. And model training and predictions are very fast, friends. And features don't need to be scaled, and feature scaling maybe involves either standardization or normalization. And in this, while using the logistic regression, you may not um, have this particular scaling. You need not scale the appropriate scale features, and can perform well with a small number of the observations. And how to fit the statistics, because especially in the machine learning and data science kind of the algorithms, there are these algorithms strongly depends on the mathematical or statistical imputations. Similarly, our logistic regression also depends on some kind of the probabilities and as well as the model fit statistics. Let us have a look on that. And initially we'll start with the discussion of odds ratio. Odds ratio is nothing but probability of happening within the probability of not happening. So that is what you call the odds ratio. We are going to win the match, or we are going to lose the match. So that is what how you can manage the winning and as well as lost the match. Okay, so probability to go of odds ratio, why be the primary outcome variable indicates success or failure, true or false, 1 or 0. And as mentioned earlier, P of y equal to 1 to be 0, or P of y equal to 0. For 1, we are expecting P of y equal to 1. For 0, it is P of y equal to 0. And x1, x2, x3, all these are the independent or predictor variables. And the model coefficients, beta 1, beta 2, and beta n are the model coefficients. These are all the things you need to observe in case of the odds ratio. Let us have the discussion. Probability of event occurrence and probability of non-event occurrence. In general, friends, if you are referencing the probability, if one event occurs, if I am referencing as P, non-occurrence I can refer as 1 minus P. Okay, so if I am applying the log of this particular function, log of P by 1 minus P, and I can say the function as a logit function, log of P by 1 minus P, and which is in the form of beta naught plus beta 1 x1 and beta k x k. And applicability of this exponential function yields to the result like exponent of beta 1 x1 up to beta k xk by 1 plus exponent of beta 1 beta naught beta 1 exponent beta k xk. And the logit function is a regression, is an estimation of logit function. Logit function is simply a log of odds ratio in favor of event. This function creates a S-shaped curve with the probability estimate rather than creating the straight line. Always we may not expect the straight line, friends. So suppose independent variable and dependent variables in the estimation, we may not always getting the same straight line kind of thing. Maybe sometimes, so the curvic nature. And so as to implement these particular variations in independent and dependent variable relationship, you can go with the logit function. So this logit function is simple notation. Okay, so just p of xi into 1 minus p of xi, we are seeing the possibility of happening and as well as the not happening. And if you are applying separating these particular things with the summation of log of p of xi plus summation of log of 1 minus p of xi, as we are always expecting the probabilities of occurrence and as well as the non-occurrence, and the same thing we are expecting with the logistic regression. So it is giving the spam or non-spam and the percentage of the probabilities it is giving. Okay, and this is what how you can refer the methodology of um, logistic regression. Okay, so that is what. And finally we'll see about how these the analytics are helpful for the business domains in the if you are referencing the analytics application to various business domains, domain in the sense in the finance domain, marketing, and as well as the customer relationship management and manufacturing and credit card companies, and how these particular things are using the analytics, friends. So in the finance, business analytics is of course at most importance to the finance sectors. Data scientists are in high demand in case of investment banks, portfolio management, financial planning, budgeting, forecasting, etc. And companies nowadays large amount of they are populating large amount of the data, and with the help of the business analytics you can come up with all the internal patterns. On the basis of historical information, business analyst can study the trends and the performance of a particular stock and advise the client on whether to retain or sell it, which is most important point in case of the financial aspect. And coming to the marketing, studying and market basket analysis is one of the important aspects so as to pull the customers into the product purchase. So buying patterns, customer behavior, trend analysis, okay, identification of the target audience, advertisement, all these things are very important considerations in the marketing. And in case of the HR professionals can make use of data to find information about educational background of high performing candidates, employee attrition rate, and service of the employees, age, gender, all these things. So rather than manually checking, if you could give the data, so that particular data will give the performance measures of a particular candidate. And customer relationship management always yields the better results and better marketing strategy and business for the companies. One analyze the key performance indicators with further helps to decision making and make strategies to boost the relationship with the consumers, which is most important. The demographics and as well as socio-economic factors, purchasing factor and purchasing pattern, lifestyle, all these are the important measures, important parameters in CRM. The company wants to improve its service in a particular geographical segment. With data analytics, one can predict the customer preferences in that particular segment, what appeals to them, and accordingly improve the relationship with customers in a particular area. So certain products are having heavy demand, so better studying of those particular thing, and you can place the same aspects. Okay, and the manufacturing industry also to supply chain management, inventory, and measure performance of targets, risk mitigation, to improve the efficiency of the products, basis products and all. Keeping all these things in mind, the manager wants to inform on performance of a machinery which has been used past 10 years. The historical data will help evaluate the performance of the machinery and decide whether cost of maintaining the machine will exceed the cost of buying a new machinery. And finally, the credit card companies, friends, whether the appropriate member is performing well or not. Suppose if I am applying the credit card, so just they will verify my background, CIBIL score, and as well as the salary, age factor, like that various factor. So these particular companies, and one more important thing, so as to identify fraudulent and non-fraudulent kind of the transaction. So they observe, they keep track of the transaction mode. Suppose a person spent some $5,000 per a month, suddenly spent $50,000. Definitely there is a huge gap between the spending of that particular customer earlier and the current scenario. So based on these particular differentiations, one can easily observe whether the corresponding transaction is fraudulent or not. So these are all various some of the business domains you can apply, but not only these things, friends, in other domains like the retailers and medical and education background, even many universities, and as well as those things are all are applying these particular analytics. Okay, so that is what how you can make use of this particular applications. Okay, thank you.